Distinguishing network of conversations. Network of conversations refers to the conversations that we were exposed to, we were brought up in, and what those conversations did in terms of shaping who we are. And it's an important thing to look at because we often identify with certain things that really have no meaning. For example, sports teams, and things like that, nationalities. I was brought up in Canada as a Portuguese immigrant. I was born in Angola, Africa, and my parents were forced to leave because of the Civil War. So it would have been a completely different network of conversations if they had stayed in Africa. I would have been brought up in Africa and had a completely different network of conversations. So it's an important thing to look at because there's often indoctrination and ways of looking at the world and beliefs and viewpoints that don't serve us, that aren't real, or that actually are detrimental to our well-being, to our evolution, to our actualizing ourselves. It reminds me of a housemate that I had who I loved and was very ill, very sick, and trying really hard to get better. But she had never looked at her indoctrination, which happened to be Jewish. And she was getting better, and I had a heart-to-heart with her, stating that how proud of her, of how she was doing, and that the final piece was to look at that indoctrination that she got, that instilled in her a certain level of beliefs that were just making her act in ways that were not in line with who she was. At the time, I had a Palestinian friend who brought his child to the house, and she actually said, Palestinians don't love their children the way Jewish people do. What a horrible thing to say, and that just came from her network of conversation. I knew that deep down, that if she really thought about it, that is not something that she would believe, but it came from her indoctrination. So in our network of conversations, we can look at those places where lies have been fed to us, and the ways in which we are identified that serve no purpose. So that is network of conversations.